guys. So today I wanted to talk about Disney's Wish. This is a movie that came out during Thanksgiving and it has not been doing well at the box office. Now, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that it is the 100th anniversary of Walt Disney Studios Animation. A lot of hype and a lot of I don't want to say celebration, but this film was meant to commemorate the 100 years of animation, 100 years of storytelling, 100 years of animation. So I think for a lot of people, it's okay, what story are you telling? Like, what are we going to get? And essentially it's here. It's not, you don't get anything new or exciting or different in regards to the story that is being told. It's a classic Disney tale. That's why I say it's fine. Like, there's nothing bad. Like, it's not bad. Like, there are definitely things that I think need to be tweaked within this film to make it, that could make it better. And that could then maybe make it close to this. But there's nothing bad about it. It's fine. But I do think that's what puts it down a lot, is you are putting this messaging and kind of this, I would almost say, standard behind it, and it doesn't really kind of live up to that. Now, when I talk about this, I'm going to give my honest thoughts on the film. I'm going to talk about some of the positives, some of the negatives, talk about everything in between, like some of the things that I think work, some of the things that don't. One of the things that I do kind of have to give it credit for, and I think again that's because of the 100 years of animation, they put in a lot of Easter eggs. They sat down. One of the things I read is they had an Excel sheet and had written down all the Easter eggs that they have. You can easily see at least a good portion of those Easter eggs. You might have to watch it a few times to make sure you got them. Maybe you got them all, but you can definitely see a lot of the time and consideration that went into it to put in all those Easter eggs. I think that's clever. I think that's fun. Does that mean go to the theaters to see it just to see the Easter eggs? No. Like, you can wait till it comes out to do all that. But I think that's fun. Gotta have to give a little applause for that. I think the concept of the wishes, like the idea of the wishes, it's there. Like, some of these ideas, they're there. It's just how they work together. It's almost there. You know, I think one of my biggest issues with this film is, so how the wishes work is, on your 18th birthday, you give up your wish. Now, when you give up your wish, it's a little orb, and then you forget completely about your wish. You don't know what it is until maybe perchance the king grants your wish. Now, everyone within this town knows the rule. Like, everyone knows all of these things, okay? But everyone's happy within this town. Like, you see that. And so I think a part of me, when watching this, I was like, okay, what is the issue then? Because, mind you, I get it. Like, Asha gets upset because she wants her grandfather's wish to be granted. Feel that 110%. Like, I understand that completely. But you don't really see anyone's indication of, like, missing something, or, like, I don't know, having a part of themselves, like, being taken away in some way, shape, or form. If that makes sense. I feel because they explore the idea of your wish being destroyed. So I think an interesting concept would have been, whether people are just like walking through the motions, you could almost say, zombie like if you want, or if somehow somebody's doing something and then depending on what they're doing or they see something, it triggers maybe something in connection to their wish. And then they feel a twinge of like, oh, like a part of me is like missing. And so then they feel down or upset or, something like, oh, like I'm missing something. I think that would have been a very interesting way to do that instead of, oh, like everyone's just so happy in this town. And maybe that was the point. Like I don't know. I just feel like a part of me, I'm like, why should I care if everyone's just so happy? Like, yeah, for sure, still get your wish, but I'm like, I don't like if you're already happy. What difference does your what difference does your wish make? Um, I don't know. Like, I think for some people, as you can see, again, it really depends on their personality traits. Like, you, I think, see that more apparent with some, but then you don't see that with others. And so that was kind of one of my things. I was like, I guess I'm like I can kind of see it, I kind of can't. Um, and a part of that I think is with just tweaking the story a little bit. You go from one mission to then a bigger mission, which again I think your mission can evolve, it can change, but I just feel like some of that stuff, whether it's scenes, some scenes I felt like could have been taken out, and instead you could have maybe expanded on an idea or done some, like just done something more with a little bit more story or like something instead of some scenes that I just felt like were not super necessary. And then I think another issue is your characters. Now, for me personally, I'm going to touch more so on the villain because overall, I think your characters, they all needed tweaking. They all did. Um, like, parts of them I felt were fine. Parts of them I was like, And the best one I think I can go in very much into detail is the villain, because that was something I don't want to say like I was looking forward to, but it's been a while since we had a villain. And so I was like, okay, what's King Magnifico going to give me? What what are we going to get? What's here we are. What is it? And again, it was things about him I liked, and then things about him things about him that worked, things that didn't. And again, I don't know if it was like, hey, we didn't flesh out ideas enough, or like, I don't know. At times it just felt very flip floppy. And I almost want to say, like, the idea was, oh, this is the persona I have out in public. And then in private, this is who I am. But then at times it just felt like, I don't know, like he still like he was still a good person. Like he cared about some of the people. At least that's what it felt like, because you kind of learn about his backstory a little bit. So it's like it felt like he cared, but then at times it felt like he didn't. So then I was like, okay, but do you, or again, is this just a persona thing? Like that's where at times it just felt very flip floppy, and that kind of for me connects to, I would almost say, the villain song, because it's been even longer since we've had a villain song. And that was one of the things I would say looking forward to. And I think overall, with the music, again, parts of it worked for me, and then other parts of it didn't work for me. And I don't know at what point, like, where that is. I don't know if it's because of the lyrics, like, because some of the songs I think work well lyrically, but then I don't know if it's the style, like, because in regards to the Villain song, like, the verses I thought were fine. Mind you, some make sense, some don't. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But then it felt like when you get to the chorus, it's I don't know, like, was it what I was expecting? Not really. Is it like my favorite thing? No. I I don't know how to place it. Like, I really don't. Like, I get where it was kind of going with it in regards to like his personality and who he is. I got that. But then again, I don't know if it's the chorus, if it's again, I get how it connects with kind of the bridge where it takes that darker tone. I got that. I don't know. I don't know what where the issue is. I just know something there for me doesn't work, and that's how I feel with some of these songs. Now there are two songs that I think work well for me and that I do listen to, I would say frequently. That is At All Costs and This Wish. This Wish I think is, beautiful. I think it's done well. At All Costs, though, is the one that I probably listen to the most, just because lyrically and the style of that one in particular, I just like that. I personally, I like it. I don't know if some of these songs are trying to be like a Lin-Manuel Miranda. I've heard a lot of people talk about that in particular and comparing it to Encanto. These songs were not written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think some people know that. Um, and I don't know if they're comparing it to Encanto because that's technically like the last big, Disney, but I have no idea. I don't know. I think I feel like it's trying to be that in some of these songs. It needed to just kind of be its own, like, it's Encanto was Encanto because of that's the vibe, that's the style, that's what fits. Here I think it needed to be like, it just needed to be its own thing. Like, you can, like, don't pretend to be like, and I think that would have worked more. That's personally for me some of the things that, like, I feel in regards to some of these elements. Now, I think, and that's where it becomes really hard because, again, like, it feels like for me, I'm doing very much a teeter totter thing. But I do, like, some of these things I think are fine. They just really need to be tweaks. I don't know in what regard that needs to be. And I think too, like, this is just my opinion. You know, everyone has their own thoughts, everyone has their own feelings. I thought, again, some things worked for me, some things didn't. That might be the same for other people. Some things that maybe didn't work for me maybe worked for somebody else. I have no idea. Like, I just know, and I feel and I think for a lot of people, stuff within here, it was there, but it just somehow, like, whether it doesn't connect, it doesn't fit, that's where some of that was. It's still fine, but, like, that's what doesn't make it, like, here. And so that's for me, I don't fault people and I don't blame people for not going because, yeah, if you're hearing some of these criticisms, it's like, well, you know, anymore the movies cost however much. It's like, yeah, you can just wait till it comes out and watch it then. I understand that 110%. Like, you know? Um, so, I mean, I get it. That's just kind of my thoughts and feelings on it. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below on what you think, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.